So, you've spent your entire career doing the right thing, right? You've been saving diligently in your traditional IRA or 401k, and you've built up a really nice nest egg. But there's a little catch hiding in there, a future tax bill that's just waiting to come due. In this explainer, we're going to break down how you can manage those mandatory withdrawals and make them way more tax efficient.
Okay, let's just start with this quote because it hits the nail on the head. A tax bomb. I mean, that really paints a picture, doesn't it? It's this idea that all that money you deferred paying taxes on, well, the IRS hasn't forgotten about it. And if you're not strategic, that bomb can go off right in the middle of your retirement. So first, let's really understand what this tax bomb is all about. How does it get armed in the first place? Because before we can defuse it, we really need to know exactly what we're dealing with.
The trigger, the thing that sets us all in motion, is something called a required minimum distribution, or RMD for short. It's pretty simple, really. The government gave you a tax break for years, and they're not going to let you keep that money in a tax-sheltered account forever. So at a certain age, they say, okay, time's up. You have to start taking some money out, mainly so they can finally get their tax revenue from it.
Now, you'd think the rules for this would be straightforward, but they can feel a little complicated, mostly because Congress keeps changing them. So let's decode what you need to know about RMDs right now.
As you can see here, the goalposts have moved quite a bit over the years. The age you have to start taking RMDs depends on when you were born. So for a lot of people watching right now, if you were born between 1951 and 1959, your magic number is age 73. And for those born in 1960 or later, you get to wait a little longer until you're 75.
So how much do you actually have to take out? Well, the math itself isn't too bad. You basically take your account balance from the end of last year and divide it by a number from an IRS table called a life expectancy factor. But here's the bottom line, the thing you really need to remember. The bigger your account balance, the bigger your RMD. And a bigger RMD means more taxable income for you that year.
And having a larger taxable income in retirement, it's not just about paying more to the IRS. It can trigger a really nasty and unwelcome surprise when it comes to your healthcare costs.
It sounds a little crazy, doesn't it? How could taking money from your retirement account make your healthcare more expensive? Well, the answer is a big, fat yes. It absolutely can. Let me show you how.
It all comes down to this mouthful of an acronym, IMRMA. It stands for Income-Related Monthly Adjustment Amount. In plain English, it's a surcharge, an extra fee that higher-income folks have to pay for their Medicare. And what does the government consider income when they calculate this? You guessed it, your RMDs.
Now here's the part that catches so many people off guard, the 2-year look back. Medicare doesn't determine your premiums based on what you're making today. Nope, they look at your tax return from 2 years ago. This means a big RMD you take today creates this ripple effect that will hit your wallet in the form of higher healthcare costs 2 years from now.
And this table just illustrates the danger perfectly. IRMA isn't a gradual slope, it's a cliff. I mean, just look at this example. For a single person, if your income in 2024 is $109,000, you pay no surcharge in 2026. But if your income is just $1 more, your RMD pushes you to $109,001, bam, you're hit with over $1,100 in extra Medicare premiums for the year. It's an absolute trap if you're not paying attention.
Okay, so that's the problem, right? RMDs can jack up your taxes and your healthcare costs. So how do we fight back? Well, let's talk about the first strategy, and it's a fantastic one if you're someone who likes to give to charity. It's called a Qualified Charitable Distribution, or a QCD. And the most important word there is direct. This isn't about you taking money out of your IRA and then writing a check. It's about telling your IRA custodian, hey, send this money straight from my account to this charity. And we're not talking about small potatoes here. For 2026, if you're age 70 and a half or older, you can send up to $111,000 this way. For a lot of people, that could easily cover their entire RMD for the year. And this is where the magic happens. Here's how it diffuses the tax bomb. First, that QCD counts towards your RMD for the year, so the IRS is happy. But, and this is the absolute key, that money is never included in your taxable income. So you meet your obligation without adding a single penny to your income, which helps you stay well clear of those nasty IRMA cliffs. It's a win-win-win. Okay, but what if you're thinking, I'm not giving away that much money. I want to use it myself, or maybe leave it for my kids. That brings us to our second big strategy, which is all about playing the long game with Roth accounts. Let's do a quick compare and contrast. A traditional IRA is all about taxes later. You get the break now, you pay the tax in retirement. A Roth IRA is the complete opposite. Taxes now. You pay the taxes on the money up front, and then your qualified withdrawals later on are 100% tax-free. And look at that last line. It's a game changer. The original owner of a Roth IRA has no RMDs.
So how do you get your money from the taxes later bucket to the taxes now bucket? It's through something called a Roth conversion. You are proactively, intentionally moving money from your traditional IRA over to a Roth IRA. The catch? You have to pay income tax on whatever amount you convert in the year you do the conversion. You're basically choosing to rip off the tax Band-Aid now to avoid a bigger pain later.
Now, why on earth would you choose to pay taxes early? Well, think about it. Every dollar you convert is one less dollar in your traditional IRA that's going to be subject to RMDs down the road. You're shrinking the tax bomb. You're also building up this amazing bucket of tax-free money you can tap into anytime you want in retirement, giving you so much more control over your taxable income each year.
So we've walked through the problem, that ticking tax bomb, and two really powerful ways to deal with it. Let's pull this all together now into a clear, simple game plan.
So here's the plan in a nutshell. First, just acknowledge that your traditional IRA has a built-in tax liability. Second, understand that RMDs are the trigger, and they can cause that collateral damage through those IRMA surcharges. Your best defensive tools? QCDs to satisfy your RMD tax-free, and Roth conversions to shrink your future RMDs and build a beautiful tax-free fund for retirement. I want to leave you with this thought, because it's just so true. People don't just get lucky and stumble into a low-tax retirement. It takes a plan. It has to be engineered. By understanding these rules and using these strategies, you can be the engineer of your own financial future.
Now look, this stuff can get pretty complex. Figuring out exactly when to do a conversion or how much to convert, it's not always easy. That's why getting some personalized advice is often a really smart move. If you think you could use some help engineering your own plan, you can always reach out to an expert, like the team at Blue Eris. Thanks so much for watching.